across a drifting ship. I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all the sailors here are really hip. There isn't any cost of membership, and all you gotta do is join our trip. Yeah, I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard this ship. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Well, here we go again, my friends. Good evening to all. Good Wednesday evening to every one of you who is sailing upon the mystery ship. Great to have you here. My name is Zoso Dude, and I come to you several nights a week and Saturday during the day for a classic rock revival, something I'm trying to keep alive. Long after I'm gone, you'll be able to call up my shows and say, son of a gun, that guy knew his classic rock. At least I hope so anyway. It's really good to see you. How are you doing out there? Let's take a quick peek around the horn. I just want to make sure that I'm live everywhere I'm supposed to be live. Well, look at this. We are live over at Twitch. That's looking good. What a beautiful picture. I always say that, but it always is. We are live at the home of the champions. If you look over my shoulder, there is a crown currently adorning D-Live. They won it fair and square. No one can take it away from them for the rest of the month. Once a month, on the last Wednesday of the month, I host a trivia challenge between all of the channels, and we see who comes out on top. They're on a little bit of a spree right now. This might be two or maybe three in a row. I know that Foxhole had it for a while. I know YouTube came very, very close to winning. But D-Live is holding on firm to the crown. And I like that. I like it. I used to have a crown over at D-Live. I don't anymore. But I did. I did for a while. So we're live over there. Are we live at the Tube? Oh, we're live at the Tube, and we've got people there. My dear sister, Karen, what are you doing? It is good to see you. What is going on over there? Well, Susan Danielle, wonderful to have you ladies aboard. How fabulous is that? Faboo. All right. I'm going to turn you blue over there. And then the next time you say something, you and I will see each other in blue. She's hiding. Oh, my God. There you go. Good to see you. Good to see you. How are we doing at Rumble? Are we live at Rumble? Ooh, we are live Yes, we are live at Rumble, and apparently there are two people over there. Whoever you are, I freaking love you. Thanks for joining us aboard the Mystery Ship. How about the home of free speech in America? That is Pilled Foxhole. That's where you can you even say that expression anymore? Well, I know you can say it over at Pilled Foxhole. Oh, boy, that's delicious. I have needed that grog. It has been a grog kind of day. That's my very first sip all day. And one good sip deserves another. Mm. Yes. Well, while I'm there examining the folks, let's say some hellos and then I'll work my way back. It looks as though Joe Elaine is in the house. Good to see you, Jojo. Dragon Slayer, Sigurd. Good to have you aboard. Always happy to see your smiling face. Crazy Chuck with a K, my brother from Ohio. Got to meet Chuck last summer. It was great. It was meant to be. I was riding down the road listening to Uncle Krusty, and Chuck was in the chat, and I piped in and just said hello as I was rolling down the freeway. And Chuck says, "Hey, man, I know you're going around the country. If you're anywhere near Toledo," and I look up at the sign, and it says, Toledo, 2.5 miles. I'm like, well, that's really crazy. So that's how we met up. I got to see his hot rod and his man cave. Pretty cool stuff. He took me for a ride in his car. Freaking awesome. Val Hall, what are you doing? Good to see you, little lady. Hope everything is good in your world. Double D, checking in with the SS Foxhole. Always good to have you aboard. Bert Cocaine comes in bearing gifts from afar. Bert, how's it going, man? A pleasure having you aboard the other night, man. Really enjoyed our chat, man. It was very cool to. It's one thing to see a content creator and see what he puts out, but it's a very different thing to get to know him. Get to know who is that guy behind the mic. Very interesting cat. We could have gone on for another couple of hours easily. Just scratched the surface. We'll have him back for another round. Rooster, my man, what is going down? I dropped in on Rooster last summer, going through riding my Harley through Texas. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, indeed. LT in the house. Girl Patriot. What are you doing, little lady? How's the world? Hope you are doing wonderfully. Yes, indeed. Well, we have got wonderful folks hanging out at Pilled Foxhole tonight. Just a fabulous family over there. Trick Pony. If you have never tripped the light fantastic, I invite you to go over to pilled.net. It doesn't cost you a penny. Pilled.net. You sign up for a free account there. Then you get to go hang out at their sister station, which is thefoxhole.app. It's not only a groovy place to hang, you can change the colors, you can make it look daytime, nighttime, bright, dark. You can make it any color. I mean, there's so many options over there, but what I like most about it is you can create your own stickers in seconds. If you have an image that you've always wanted to make a sticker out of, at Pilled Foxhole, it will become a reality for you. And I think that is just freaking groovy. Look at all the rock stars over there. Look at all the freaking rock stars at Pilled Foxhole. I'm loving it. I am freaking loving it. Pony Girl, how's everything in your world? You doing well? Kristen Hudson, always a pleasure to look up and see your smiling face. Hope you're doing well. It's funny, Joe, Elaine, I was literally just thinking about the Texan not 5 minutes ago, thinking about that very thing. Our brother, the Texan, another broadcaster over on Pilled Foxhole, started his new job this week. He is back behind the wheel of a semi. We're right where he belongs. And, I'm wondering how the new job's going as well. I got to reach out to him and see, tell him to break a leg. break a leg. All right. No one hanging out at Rumble right now, and at least not chatting, but that's okay. Let's see you back over at YouTube. Susan Danielle, Karen Colby, wonderful to see your smiling faces. Mad Pogue drops in to say hello to his fellow sisters. Always beautiful. Always a beautiful thing. Thank you guys for hanging out over there, holding up the lantern at YouTube. Over here at Twitch. Hard to tell if there's somebody there or not. I think that they are. I think my brother Matty F&B is hanging out over there, and that's a good thing. He sent me a couple of texts this morning that had me just shaking my freaking head, what people do. And he's there to fix it, thank God. All right, to the champions right now. Val Kimber, always great to see you. Jayla, 17, from upstate New York. Hope everything is going well in your world. Hope hubby is on the mend. And life is good for you guys. Sheeple Beware. Sheeple Beware is with us. Artist 61. How you doing, Steph? Good to see your smiling face always. Amethyst Cat. Here, kitty. Yes, she's not psycho. She's just retarded. That's the way we like them around here. In fact, that's the way we love them around here. Wonderful to see your smiling face. Lynn Winters is with us. Gloria Paddock. You get the Our Gang salute. Yes, indeed. How are you doing, little lady? How's everything in Florida way? You know, I'm going to get some Florida sunshine the end of this week. Starting tomorrow, it is getting up to 70. And then by Monday, they're saying 75 degrees here in Oregon. I'm busting out the bikes. First of all, oh my God, Libby is so dirty. She is so dirty. She needs a washing badly. And Peggy she's raring to go. She's all washed and clean. That's probably who I'll take to work tomorrow. Who I will take to work tomorrow, Sleeping Stars, Shelby. What you doing, kiddo? Good to see you. My name is Dee. She hangs out with Sandra, having coffee at Pilled. I've got to get Sandra on this show. Yeah, you know, I could die of embarrassment. Sandra, Coffee Talk with Sandra, a great show on Pilled Foxhole. It's on almost every night of the week. She invited me on her show. I somehow got my wires crossed with the hours because I think she's in Minnesota or something, and I'm here. I thought we were both Pacific Coasters, so, you know, I set my alarm on my clock, you know, so I'm driving down the freeway, coming home from work. It was late. Joelaine reaches out. She goes, Zoe, where the hell are you? I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, you were supposed to be on Sandra's show like 40 minutes ago, dude. And I'm like, oh, my God. I could have died. I rushed home, got in, and turned on my computer just in time to watch her sign off. So I owe her. I owe that woman. I owe her a big one. She's got a great show. Coffee Talk with Sandra. If you see her, tell her Zoe sent you. And he also sends his apologies. Well, wonderful, wonderful group of sailors hanging out at D-Live. Great to have all of you there tonight. Thanks. Oh, Chicago? Okay, well, I mean, I'm in the hood. I'm in the hood, right? Yes. Yes. Gloria traveling to South Carolina this weekend. Well, I hope your travels go well, my dear. Keep one eye on the road, and you're going to be hanging out with your sister and her dogs. I know it. There'll be pooches all over you. Yes. Oh, it's so good to have you guys here. It really is. I love doing this show. I love hanging out with you. It is my pleasure to step in and bump into you from time to time. Just got off the horn a few minutes ago with my dear brother, Cosmic Grandpa. Cosmic Grandpa, if you don't know, this is kind of interesting. Long before there was a mystery ship, and I'm on show number 471 right now. Long before there was a mystery ship, There was a fellow named Craig Mason who had a wonderful program. I loved it. I love Craig's show. I still do. He still broadcasts every now and then on Saturday mornings, and if he broadcasts, I'm there. He's just a laid back and cool dude. Craig, in turn, turned us on to a guy named Joey Mormon, a dear brother of mine, a great friend, musician, confidant, wonderful human being. And oddly enough, through the Joey Mormon program, I really got to know, because it was such a smaller group of people, I got to really know the people in the audience. That's how I became close friends with people like Cosmic Grandpa. Spudley was there, T.L. Spud, a number of others. And Cosmac, Batman, the Batman. Okay, I got to know the Batman through the Joey Mormon program. It's so wonderful to retain those friendships over the years and actually get to, I mean, as far as I know, I think I'm the only guy who is avidly going around the country and meeting all of the people who watch his show. And I love every second of it because you people are the show. Okay? The show is nothing without you. I need you. I want to come meet you. And I will be going out again this summer. I'll be going around the country. So I want to put you on my list and come and visit you this coming summer. I'm hoping to finish the project I'm on in June, at the worst, first week of July, and then I'm on the road. I'm actually thinking of, as nice as Libby is, I'm actually thinking of taking Peggy back out this year. She's just not feeling the love. She's not feeling the love. She needs it. I love Peggy. I love you, Peggy. Duska, how are you doing? You want me to change your mood? Let's change Duska's mood, huh? Oh, let's see. That doesn't really show up that well. Duska's eyes are changing color from like blue to green to purple to... We'll leave her on red. Duska's angry. She's angry. All right. We'll be back immediately following this video. And we're going to talk tonight about a very interesting subject. It is, Zoso takes a look at St. Patrick's Day. And it's not everything that you think that you know about St. Patrick's Day. We're going to look at them right after this. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. so many good friends in that video. I love it. Oh, it makes me itch. It makes me itch to hit the road again. Summer's coming. Summer is coming. Man, we have had a freaking cold spell here the last few weeks here in Oregon. And this warm weather around the corner is a very, very welcome sight. I was looking at my phone and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you a week from today? I'm going to be running around in shorts. I'm all for it. I'm all freaking for it. Look at that. HOH. You bounce between YouTube and Pilled Foxhole. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, dude, Double D, you're in that video. What you talking about? Why wouldn't you be in that video? Paul Dibble, my dear brother. You know, I've been blessed. I have been blessed for the last, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. Mr. Paul Dibble, hanging out over there at Rumble, is a fellow superintendent. He's 25, maybe 30 years my junior, at least 25 anyway, and every bit of a seasoned professional himself. But his experience runs wild in residential, not so much commercial. So they gave him a chance to hang out with me for a little bit and kind of check out the commercial end of things. And I'm bummed. Fridays will be my last day with him. He is moving on to do his next big project, a commercial endeavor, and I wish him all the best. Paul, it's been a freaking gas hanging out with you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by the mystery ship. Thanks for dropping by. All right. So tonight, folks, we're looking at St. Patrick's Day. And I know that I'm sure there's a bunch of Irish people in here tonight. I'm certain of it. I am myself. I am exactly 50% Italian and 50% British. That's all I got in me. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to believe in this day and age that someone would be just two things. In fact, I have a handful of friends who are just one. I mean, like, pure this or pure that. But it's really not that common anymore to be, to not be the League of Nations, to 20 different varieties, Heinz 57. Many people I know, like, crazy enough, my daughters, okay? My daughters are 1/4 Italian, 1/4 British, and on their mother's side, they're like 18 things. It's insane in that in one single generation, you can have such a variety. I love my Irish friends. My very, very best friend growing up, he's no longer with us. His name was Brian O'Donnell. Brian O'Donnell, I miss him terribly. He died 3 years ago. He was about a year older than me. No, he wasn't. He was only 4 or 5 months older than me. God, I miss him. When we grew up, he was a very, very proud Irishman. Very proud Irishman. And when St. Patrick's Day came along, you hear so many tales growing up, right? So this was the early 70s. And I read somewhere that, you wear green on St. Patrick's Day, and if you don't side with the Irish, you wear orange, all right? And I told this to Brian, and he goes, well, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. You better show up. You better be wearing green tomorrow. So the next morning, I put on my green New York Jets jersey, my Joe Namath jersey, and then over it, I put an orange shirt. And I was walking over to his house. I said, hey, I'm on my way. Maybe I rode my bicycle. I don't know. I was on my way over, and he saw me from down the street, and he was I mean, he was ready to rumble by the time I got there. He was ready to kick my ass. And then I peeled off the orange shirt and showed him my Jets jersey. So it was all good. It was always a lot of fun. St. Patrick's Day. When I was a young kid growing up in New Jersey, my mother took me to New York to St. Patrick's Cathedral. And it is a work of art. I'm going to show it to you real here. Let me show it to you. Oh, somewhere in there ought to do it. Somewhere in there ought to do it. Look at this place. Look at this look at the ornate craftsmanship of this thing. It is so impressive, and even more impressive to think that it's in freaking New York City. All right? I wore more hogs and heifers, New York City, tonight, just for this occasion. St. Patrick. There's so much conjecture about St. Patrick. Nowadays, all of the holidays, everything is so contrived, it's so commercialized. I mean, God forbid, Halloween and Christmas, you can't even. I'm having a hard time stomaching them anymore. They have become so commercialized between Black Friday and everything else. It almost turns my stomach. And I want to have a Merry Christmas every year. I'm a happy guy. I really am. My cup is half full, even when it's a desert outside. Okay? St. Patrick's Day, much like Cinco de Mayo, much like 4th of July, has just become all about. I mean, they sell green hats everywhere. They, Cinco de Mayo. You can't get a freaking seat at a Mexican restaurant on Cinco de Mayo, and people flock to them. Same thing with St. Patrick's Day. I will say this with honor and pride. I love being able to go out and get me some corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. All right. In fact, Paul, where are you? Paul Dibble. Let me tell you a little something. Your next job at where is it, Sacred Heart or whatever it is, you are down the street, buddy. On West Main is a little Irish restaurant called Four Daughters. Dude, they have the best corned beef cabbage, and you can get it to go during the day on St. Patrick's Day. You'll thank me later. You will thank me later. In fact, I'm going to get some. I'm going to have to order up some, and I'm going to have to drive all the way up there just to get their corned beef and cabbage, which, surprisingly, let's touch base on that. Corned beef and cabbage isn't necessarily an Irish freaking meal. Okay? Where is it? I have it on one of these things. Yeah. Corned beef and cabbage is actually an American innovation, folks. The meal became a St. Patrick's Day staple across the country. Corned beef and cabbage. But it is an American innovation. While ham and cabbage were eaten in Ireland, corned beef offered a cheaper substitute for impoverished immigrants. All right? Irish Americans living in the slums of lower Manhattan in the late 19th century and early 20th century purchased leftover corned beef from ships returning from the tea trade in China. But the fact of the matter, the Irish would boil the beef 3 times the last time with cabbage to remove some of the brine. But the bigger truth about that is that it is, in fact, it is in fact a food associated with the Jews. The Jews are the ones renowned for corned beef. On St. Patrick's Day, countless merrymakers in the United States, Canada, and elsewhere savor copious plates of corned beef and cabbage. In Ireland, however, a type of bacon similar to ham is the customary protein on the holiday table. Let's see. In the late 19th century, Irish immigrants in New York City's Lower East Side supposedly substituted corned beef, which they bought from their Jewish neighbors, in order to save money. I mean, you'd think that Biden was the president back then. To save money, that's not to say that salt-cured beef isn't a traditional Irish dish, but pork has historically been much more widely available on the Emerald Isle. So some of the traditions as we know them are force-fed upon us, okay? Like all the hats that you can, I mean, in the next week, you are actually, they're probably out in stores right now. I don't go to places like Walmart or anything. I'll bet you right now the stores are chock full with green hats and leprechaun dealy bobbers and all of that, because there's money to be made. It's a holiday, and there's money to be made. They make money on it starts with Valentine's Day every year, and it just doesn't quit. Why does everything have to get so damn commercialized? It kind of takes the fun out of it. Now, it doesn't mean that I won't participate. Of course I will. I am so jacked up right now on knowing that in just a few days there's going to be some of the most badass corned beef and cabbage available at Four Daughters. Paul, I'm going to buy you lunch that day. Are you still out there? I'm going to buy your lunch that day. Frickin' good stuff. Good stuff, baby. We're not missing out on that one. We're not missing out on that one. St. Patrick. St. Patrick himself. So, as with most history,
the color of St. Patrick, the traditional color associated with him was blue, not green.
I didn't ask you to say anything. I didn't ask you to say anything. St. Patrick, depending on where you find your history and depending on how deep you delve into your history, you've all heard of the History Channel, right? Well, we know that they are some of the biggest fibbers on the planet. The St. Patrick on the History Channel, they chop poor St. Patrick down like there's no tomorrow. And so I did a little investigating. Whereas the History Channel comes straight out and makes claims, like just statements, like it's absolute fact. If you dig a little deeper, you'll find out that the History Channel isn't everything it's cooked up to be. Okay, it's they should call it the Fake History Channel. The fake news, fake History Channel. One thing that is true, and I have to go this far because I was able to corroborate this through several areas, is that St. Patrick, I mean, he wasn't Irish. He wasn't Irish. Scholars believe that he was British. Most scholars believe that St. Patrick was British. He was born when Rome, of course, was still in charge of everything. Okay? They were still all over the place. Rome didn't vacate the area where, in Britain, that St. Patrick was born for another 23 years. So his father, let's see, His, let's see, when Patrick wrote his name, he wrote it as Patricius, which is Latin. Okay, his mother and his father and his grandfather both had Latin names. Latin. Now there is, according to some accounts, and this is from the History Channel, St. Patrick was born by the name of Maewyn Sakat. Let me show this to you. Maewyn Sakat. Let me show this to you. This is, of course, the History Channel website. Maewyn Sakat. Now, if you are someone who just believes everything you see, you might believe that Maewyn Sakat was really his name. But if you delve a little deeper, and I am the type that delves just a little bit deeper, there is a very Catholic website, Unum Sanctum Catholicum. Let me share this with you. Oh, yes. Unum Sanctum Catholicum. Oh, come on. So get your shit together. Uno Sanctum Catholicum. All right? Defending the truth, the goodness, truth, and beauty of Catholicism. They'll tell you, see this? They're freaking out about the name Maewyn Sakat. Okay? Now, the theory that St. Patrick was born Maewyn Sakat only took the name Patrick upon his ordination to the priesthood. If you read into this article, they say that whoever is out there saying that his name was Maewyn Sakat is they're not doing their due diligence. No offense, Double D. They're not doing their due diligence in their research. In fact, this article goes on to say at Unum Sanctum Catholicum that that is probably horrendously false. That it was not his name. That's a Gaelic name. Okay. Let's see. They say that St. Patrick was clearly Romano-British. Patrick tells us as much in the opening of his book Confessio. He gives his father's name as Calpurnius and his grandfather's name as Potitus, both ordained men and Latin speakers. The family came from the town of Bonovum Tiburnae, a Roman settlement. So Patrick was born 387 AD, 23 years before the Romans left Britain. Now, Patrick was born in what we now know as Great Britain, but back in those days, it was a Roman colony. So what do you want to call St. Patrick? They want to give him a Gaelic name. The Catholics say that shoddy research, the Maewyn Sakat theory, is characterized by shoddy research and the repetition of unfounded assertions. As I searched, I found that every article or essay held to the Maewyn Sakat theory didn't cite any source for their assertion, or if they did, they cited a source which in itself was a secondary source and offered no primary reference and did not assert what the authors assumed. So, folks, it is getting harder. And us truth seekers, the people who just want to, not necessarily, bold truth, although I love bold truth. I'm an empirical kind of guy. You got to dig deeper than the first two articles. I referenced about 10 different articles, about a third of which, all of them boldly stated that his name was Maywin Sakat. Like, absolutely, for sure. And then there was a couple that flat out stated this is complete horse hockey. So all I'm saying is we're talking about something that happened 1,900 years ago, okay? Or whatever it is, excuse me, pardon me, 1,600 years ago. It's hard to get truth. The truth has been so muddled that it's honestly, it's anyone's guess as to what he really was. But he did, in fact, do a lot for Ireland. Now, these guys, we know that the real St. Patrick was born in Great Britain, all right? Patrick never actually was canonized, okay? That's how Catholics say that someone is a true saint. They become canonized. Despite his status as a patron saint, St. Patrick was never actually canonized by the church during his lifetime, primarily because such a process didn't exist when he died in AD 461. It wasn't until 993 that St. Ulrich of Augsburg became the first saint to be formally canonized, and it wasn't until the 12th century that the church established an official canonization process overseen by the Pope. While St. Patrick has never been formally canonized, many consider to hold him truly in that saintly status. And who am I to not give the devil his due? Let's go with it. Now, another
The Irish American view of a leprechaun is very different from
where the hell is this coming from?
Irish view of a leprechaun.
Stop it. I don't know where that shit's coming from. Here's another interesting fact. When St. Patrick was sent out to Ireland to create a bunch more Catholics, you know, there's a legend that he removed all the snakes from Ireland. A lot of people feel that this is actually just some kind of a metaphor. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what to tell you. But among the legends associated with St. Patrick is that he stood atop an Irish hillside and banished snakes from Ireland, prompting all serpents to slither away into the sea. But research suggests that snakes probably never occupied the Emerald Isle in the first place. There's no signs of snakes in the country's fossil record, and water has surrounded Ireland since the last glacial period. Before that, the region was covered in ice and would have been too cold for the reptiles, so who knows? I mean, who freaking knows? But that is a story that has always been tied to our dear St. Patrick. I don't know what is these people's problem. You know what? I'm going to just turn that off, and then I won't have that problem anymore. I won't have that problem anymore. Here's an interesting thing. I mean, talking about Irish, it's a bit of an aside, but I've got to bring it up. Mrs. Zoe is really hung up on fairies. In fact, Mrs. Zoe's Christian name, I can't really divulge her full name, but her first name is Paula. Paula means little, okay? And Paula's last name means fairy. That's what it means. So Mrs. Zoe's actual name means little fairy. because of that, she's got this thing about fairies. She's collected little figurines of fairies, little glass. She's got little curios with fairies in them, and she's got hanging doodads in the walls with fairies in them, and she reads about fairies and all of that stuff. And I mean, I don't know that she believes in them, but there are people who believe in fairies, and I'm not talking about the ones in Hollywood. Okay, no. Leprechauns are right in there with fairy. So the red-haired, green-clothed leprechaun, commonly associated with St. Patrick's Day, the original Irish name for these figures of folklore is Loberson, meaning small-bodied fellow. Small-bodied fellow. Belief in leprechauns likely stems from Celtic belief in fairies, tiny men and tiny women who could use their magical powers to serve good or evil. In Celtic folk tales, leprechauns were cranky souls responsible for mending the shoes of other fairies. I seem to be flashing back the elves and the shoemaker. You guys remember that story? I think it was an Irish tale. I mean, this is from when I was a little kid. Guy's a shoemaker, and and he wakes up in the morning, and all the shoes that he's working on, they're all finished. They're all perfectly done for him, and turns out it was a bunch of elves trying to help him out. It's been a while since I've read that story. Perhaps I'm paraphrasing wildly and not even in the neighborhood, but well. And then there's the shamrock. Okay, the shamrock is a big deal associated with St. Patrick's Day. And, I mean, lore tells us that St. Patrick used the shamrock to teach about the Holy Trinity. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. The shamrock, a three-leaf clover, has been associated with Ireland for centuries. It was called the Seamroy by the Celts and was considered a sacred plant that symbolized the arrival of spring. According to legend, St. Patrick used the plant as a visual guide when explaining the Holy Trinity. By the 17th century, the shamrock had become a symbol of emerging Irish nationalism. Now, I promise you, if you go to Boston, a very, very Catholic town, and you look right in the middle of the Boston Celtics, right in the middle of their parquet floor of their back, you're going to see some shamrocks. Goobage, what are you doing, little lady? Prayer Warrior Girl said she's heard that there are fairies in heaven. Well, I mean, I can't dispute that. I heard on a Black Sabbath album the fairies wear boots, but I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not possible. There could be fairies in heaven. Yeah. And I don't think they're the Hollywood kind. Okay? Nope. Here's an interesting one. The first St. Patrick's Day parade. The first St. Patrick's Day parade was actually held in America. All right? While people in Ireland have celebrated St. Patrick since the 1600s, the tradition of St. Patrick's Day parade began in America and actually predates the founding of the United States. How about them apples? Records show that a St. Patrick's Day parade was held on March 17th, 1601, in a Spanish colony in what is now St. Augustine, Florida. The parade and the St. Patrick's Day celebration a year earlier were organized by the Spanish colony's Irish vicar, Ricardo Artur. More than a century later, homesick Irish soldiers serving in the English military marched into Boston in 1737 and in New York City on March 17. Enthusiasm for the St. Patrick's Day parades in New York City, Boston, and other early American cities only grew from there. So, yeah, well, let's see. In 2020 and 2021, parades throughout the country, including in New York City and Boston, were canceled or postponed for the first time in decades due to the pandemic. They returned in 2022. May they continue. May they continue to be a staple of Boston and New York, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Where's the next interesting fact? The next interesting fact. Did I move it over to here? I may have. Oh, yeah. There it is. There it is. Now, the very idea that St. Patrick brought Christianity to Ireland may not necessarily be true. Now, did he go there and preach? Abso-freaking-lutely. Unquestionably, he was a Catholic preacher. In 431, before Patrick began preaching in Ireland, Pope Celestine reportedly sent a bishop known as Palladius to the Irish believing in Christ, an indication that some residents of the Emerald Isle had already converted. One theory holds that St. Patrick of Lore is actually an amalgam of two men, Palladius and the deacon's son who first visited Ireland as an enslaved man. So put that in your pipe and see how it sucks. I don't know. These are all. I'm going to be opening up the phones later, and I am interested in your take. I'm sure that some of you out there, particularly the Irish among you, might have a thing or two to say about the statements that I'm making tonight, and I am in no way saying that this is gospel truth. I'm just saying what I was able to dig up on St. Patrick's Day fairly readily. Green, the color green, has historically been associated with St. Patrick's Day. The Irish countryside may be many shades of green, but the knights in the Order of St. Patrick wore a color known as St. Patrick's blue. Blue. Why did green become so emblematic of St. Patrick? Why did people start drinking green beer and wearing green and, of course, dyeing the Chicago River green to mark this holiday? The association probably dates back to the 18th century when supporters of Irish independence used the color to represent their cause. Well, let's see. Until the 1700s, St. Patrick's Day was actually a Roman Catholic holiday only observed in Ireland until the 1700s. Okay? St. Patrick's Day was a Roman Catholic feast only celebrated in Ireland. And it didn't have the, what do they call it, the raucous revelry of today's celebrations. Instead, the faithful spent a relatively somber occasion in quiet prayer in church or at home. They weren't out in the bars drinking green beer. It was a day to pray and, well, observe the Roman Catholic holiday. Let's see, that started to change when Irish immigrants living in the United States began organizing parades and other events on March 17th as a show of pride. For many people around the world, St. Patrick's Day has evolved into a secular ode to Irish culture, or at least an oversimplified version of it, characterized by parties, music, and iconic foods. I kind of wish Cosmic Grandpa was here because I wonder if they, I wonder if they had, I wonder if they had a St. Patrick's Day at his brewery when he owned a brewery. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting though. It's interesting to stop and think about all the St. Patrick's Day stuff that you hear and read about, because how do we know these 1600-year-old legends are true? There is a teacher. He's a professor, James Farrelly. I believe that is an Irish name. A professor of English at the University of Dayton, and I'm sure that's Dayton, Ohio. He had the same curiosity that I did. And so he decided to take some students of his and travel to Ireland and get to the bottom of St. Patrick's Day. I think it's a very worthwhile thing that he did. This was back in 1997. He says, my students and I traveled to Crowpatrick, a mountain in County Mayo, as part of a study abroad program on Irish literature that he was teaching at the University of Dayton. I wanted my students to visit the place where each July thousands of pilgrims pay homage to St. Patrick, who, according to lore, fasted and prayed on this very summit that they went to for 40 days. While there, our tour guide relayed the story of how St. Patrick, as he lay on his deathbed on March 17th in AD 461, supposedly asked those gathered around him to toast his heavenly journey with a wee drop of whiskey to ease their pain. A good friend of mine, and he's Irish. He's as Irish as the day is long. One of his favorite jokes is, do you know why God created whiskey? And I said, why? He goes, to stop the Irish from taking over the world. I wonder where he is these days. I wonder if he's still alive. Old Mikey. The mention of whiskey left me wondering if St. Patrick may have unintentionally influenced the way most of the world now celebrates the holiday by drinking. It wasn't always this way. The festival of St. Patrick began in the 17th century as a religious and cultural commemoration of the bishop who brought Christianity to Ireland. In Ireland, there's still an important religious and cultural component to the holiday. They still take it seriously in Ireland, okay? Even though it has simply become an excuse to wear green and heavily drink for the rest of the world. When I think back all the way into my 20s, as long as I can remember, St. Patrick's Day is a day to go out and get bombed. Am I wrong? Am I freaking wrong? As long as I can remember, people that I know on St. Patrick's Day use it as an excuse to, and God forbid if it's on a Friday. Holy Hannah. Wait, is St. Patrick's Day on a Friday this year? Holy moly, we could be in trouble. No, St. Patrick's Day is on a Sunday. Good. Maybe the Catholics will keep it down to a dull roar. The legend of St. Patrick, because historical details about St. Patrick's life remain shrouded in speculation. That the truth is, we don't really know about St. Patrick. There's people who think he's got a Gaelic name. He was born in Great Britain, but it was actually under Roman rule. So he could be a Roman. He could be Italian. We don't know. So the historical details about St. Patrick's life remain shrouded in speculation. Scholars are often stymied in their attempts to separate facts from legend. In his spiritual memoir, Confessio, which that sure sounds freaking Italian to me, Confessio, St. Patrick describes how he was brought to Ireland as a slave. He eventually escaped, rejoining his family in Britain, probably Scotland, but while there he had a recurring dream in which the voice of the Irish called to him to return to Ireland in order to baptize and to minister to them. And so he did. He returned to Ireland. Now, the Irish revere the account of this dream described in the Confessio. They are to accept the simplicity and fervor of his words and feel a debt of gratitude for his unselfish commitment to their spiritual well-being. St. Patrick's efforts to convert the Irish to Catholicism were never easy. Viewing him as a challenge to their power and authority, the high kings of Ireland and the pagan high priests called the Druids resisted his efforts to make inroads with the population. But through his missionary zeal, he was able to fuse Irish culture into Christianity, whether it was through the introduction of the Celtic cross or the use of bonfires to celebrate feasts like Easter. I thought they were going to say by using whiskey. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding, of course. Again, many of these stories amount to no more than myth. Nonetheless, centuries after his death, the Irish continue to show their gratitude for their patron saint by wearing a spray of shamrocks on March 17th. They start the day with a mass, followed by a day-long feast and prayer and reflection at night. So that's how they celebrate it. How did that turn into getting roaring drunk down at the local bar wearing a green hat? That's what I want to know. Well, he's going to try to explain it here. St. Paddy's Day goes global. From 1820 to 1860, almost 2 million people left Ireland, many due to the potato famine in the 1840s and 1850s. More followed in the 20th century to reunite with their relatives who had probably moved to America to escape poverty and joblessness back home. Once settled, they found new ways to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and their Irish identity in their new homes. Irish Americans especially were quick to transform March 17th into a commercial enterprise. So this guy's suggesting that the Irish are the ones who made it into the way we know it right now, as a day-long party. Just a big old freaking party. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what to think. The mandatory wearing of the green in all its garishness is a far cry from the original tradition of wearing a spray of shamrocks to honor St. Patrick's death and celebrate Irish solidarity. Parades famously sprung up, especially in New York and Boston. Revelry ensued, and sure enough, even the beer became green. Well, I will say I did spend one St. Patrick's Day in Boston. And I'm proud to say I got rip-roaring drunk with some of my Bostonian friends. Those people know how to party. That is a hard party in town. Is anybody from Boston? Anybody out there from Boston? You people know how to party. Yeah, Cynthia, she's from Boston. You guys know how to freaking party. Prayer Warrior Girl says, I love to eat corned beef and cabbage and watch the movie with John Wayne, The Quiet Man, on St. Patrick's Day. That sounds so perfect to me. It does. It sounds like a perfect thing. Deus Volt is saying, I want reparations for Irish slavery. I mean, I've studied slavery, and from what I have gathered in studying history, Irish women, Irish women were sold as slaves long, long before anybody was stolen out of Africa. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody, but if you do the deep dive on slavery, you'll find out that, yeah, Irish women were some of the first ones who were enslaved. And I wouldn't mind a couple chained to the back wall of my garage right now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Seriously. You guys know me better than that. Anyway, children of any age in Ireland, what they know about St. Patrick, they'll regale you with stories of his magical ability. They've made a magician out of him. From his power to drive the snakes out of Ireland to his use of the 3 leaves and 1 stem of the shamrock to demystify the Trinity doctrine of the Catholic Church. They see St. Patrick as a miracle worker, and as adults, they keep the legends alive in their own ways. Some follow St. Patrick's footsteps all around Ireland, from well to hill to altar to chapel, seeking his blessing and bounty wherever their journeys take them. Of course, in America, raising a glass is what we do best. The holy day is really, in America, St. Patrick's Day is just a party above all else. Americans in some years have spent 6.16, with a B, people, 6.16 billion celebrating, with 13 million pints of Guinness consumed in an average St. Patrick's Day. 13 million pints. We know how to get it on here in America. I'll tell you what. Some parts of the country even held a pre-celebration on September 17th, and they call it halfway to St. Patrick's Day. I freaking heard it all. I've heard it all. Where all this leads is anyone's guess, but beginning in the 1900s, Ireland seemed to grasp the earning potential of the Americanized version and said, well, why don't we do it over here? March 17th remains a holy day for the natives and a holiday for tourists from around the world, with pubs raking in the euros on St. Patrick's Day. But this guy says he's often wondered, what if St. Patrick's Day had requested a silent prayer? What if St. Patrick on his deathbed had requested a silent prayer instead of a wee drop of whiskey? Instead of a wee drop of whiskey. What this man is asking. Oh boy. Oh boy. Give me just a second. People. What this man concludes with, and this is a scholar, a professor who took his students over to Ireland to observe St. Patrick's Day. He wraps up his little dissertation here with what I've always wondered. What if St. Patrick had requested a silent prayer instead of a wee drop of whiskey to toast his passing? Would his celebration have stayed more sacred than profane? I'm going to let you chew on that for a minute. We're going to take a short break right here. Just a short little break. This is a chance for you to run and use the potty. You can take the dog out. This is your opportunity. It's just a short break, a very short break. You can refresh your drink. That's what I'm going to do. Or enjoy it any way you wish, but I'll be back in about 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. And we'll open the phone lines. I want to hear your thoughts on St. Patrick's Day.
Why do we sail upon the mystery ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next.
Well, this is the moment where I want to take a second to thank the wonderful people who support this program in whatever way it is that you do. Literally, while this program was started, I got a nice little surprise on my Cash App from my dear sister Karen over there on YouTube. Thank you, darling. That is absolutely wonderful of you. Thank you for your support. Thank you to all the people donating gold pills. I freaking love you. You are wonderful. And the same goes for the beautiful people like Gloria Paddock right there, Vault Music right there, the Lieutenant Cooker right there. They're dropping lemons right now like they're going out of style. Thank you for supporting the show in whatever way you choose to. One of the greatest ways that you can support this program, honestly, doesn't cost a penny. It's just telling a friend about it, saying, "Hey, why don't you check this dude out? He's out there." You know, actually, if you guide them to my Saturday show, I'll hook them right there, and I'll do the rest. I promise. I appreciate everything that you guys do to further this show, and this little show is growing. And I love all of you wonderful people for coming and hanging out with me. It means the world. It means the world to me that you spend a couple hours here and there hanging out with your brother Zoe, calling in, telling me what's on your mind. That's what we're going to do right this very second. Right this very second, I am going to throw a number right on your screen. I am indeed. There we go. And I would like to know, what are your thoughts on St. Patrick's Day? Is it, whoops. Is it a day to celebrate? Is it a day to party? What do you do with your St. Patrick's Day? Do you find yourself cooking corned beef and cabbage? Do you go out and party with your friends? Do you look forward to St. Patrick's Day? Is it an excuse to stop and grab a bottle of Basil Hayden on the way home? That's what I want to know. Me personally, one of my absolutely favorite things about St. Patrick's Day, I'd be a liar if I said anything less, is the freaking food, okay? I love the fact that I can get some badass corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. One of my favorite things about the feast day. And it is indeed a feast day, okay? It's how it turned into a day to go get drunk is beyond me. If any of you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Seriously, I would love to hear them. Do you think, perchance, that St. Patrick saying to his friends, as I'm going, take a little shot of whiskey. Do you think that started it all? If I am not mistaken, my dear sister Goobage is on the line. Is that true? Whoop.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We got you. I got you, kiddo. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm adjusting my schedule.
You are. That's right. You've been a night owl for years and years, and all of a sudden, you're working days now.
Yeah.
What's it like to not be a Dracula anymore?
There's too many people.
I hear you there, sister. I hear you there. Tell me, are you Irish?
I'm part Irish, yes.
Do you like to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? How do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Well, I make the Irish dinner. I make the corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots, and I've my Mexican guy now.
Yeah.
I've gotten to enjoy that. It was too funny last year. We bought all the corned beef that he could buy.
Wow.
At low prices.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He loves that. It's too funny.
You know, it's funny when I mean, I'm salivating right now like Pavlov's dog. Okay, I'm thinking of my mom. My mom made the best damn corned beef and cabbage on the planet. I just talked to my brother who just got home from spending a week or 10 days with my mother. You know what? I think you just sparked. I think when I go around the country this summer, I'm going to have my mom make me corned beef and cabbage. I think you just talked me right into it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Oh, yeah. What do you think about the partying that goes on St. Patrick's Day? How do you think those two things got put together?
It's just an American thing because I think we're just been so much slaves. One of my cousins, my aunt, did a lot of study in our history of our lives. And that's one of the things I put in the chat is like the first slaves that came to America were the servants, the Irish who were going into servitude to the United States. And I could track my family history back to the 1600s.
Really?
Yes, and to the 1700s in Canada.
Wow.
And these people went into servitude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which was like 7 to whatever years. They just instead of credit, they sold their labor for credit.
Yeah.
And that's my family's done this stuff for a long time instead of credit. So it goes back to that. So I think St. Patrick's Day and stuff like that. You think of Cinco de Mayo. You think of Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Those are some of the biggest drinking days of the year.
It is one of the biggest drinking days of the year. It really is.
All of these holidays are the biggest drinking days of the year because they're celebrations because of our servitude to all of this crap.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you, Goober. By the way, this is CL Goober on the line. My brother was a bartender for like 30 years. And he said, Al, hands down, St. Patrick's Day is the holy grail of bartending. And I said, why is that? He goes, people get so damn drunk, my tips go through. He goes, I've had $2,000 St. Patrick's Days. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
And I really think it is because it's a celebration of that servitude and, you know, is why the hell not?
I hear you. I hear you, sister. I mean, when you're being held down, you know, one of the few ways that you can escape that is by truly escaping by downing a couple of cool ones and taking the edge off. You know, I totally
eating
understand.
Good food and having a family celebration.
Mm.
You know, it's not just drinking, but it's like, you know, eating good food.
Oh yeah.
And just celebrating that we are in a place that we have servitude, but there's a way out.
You know, I mean, one thing that I remember from my history, I don't know if they teach this anymore, but I remember seeing in my history books ancient photos of America, particularly, I think it was back east, New York and stuff, where there were signs in the windows that said NINA, which stood for No Irish Need Apply. I mean, they know what it's like to, they knew prejudice back in the day. So,
Well,
I mean,
that's no shit.
Yeah.
America's forgotten their history.
we really have. You know, I mean, that's, yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. But I mean, I clearly, at least they were teaching me that back in the 60s. So, yeah, you know.
Well, and that's the thing, because they're bringing that so back now, and it's redonkulous to those of us who are from those age, because it wasn't that long ago.
It really wasn't.
Come on now. Come on now.
100 years ago, you know? Yeah, people were starving to death here in this very country, you know? It's the whole reason they... yeah.
The thing that scares me right now is that I'm watching True Social and the things that I follow on True Social, and the banking, we're going to crash. We're going to crash hard, like 1929.
Ooh, I know.
Really soon, and you people are going to understand what we went through in that history then.
Those who don't study their history are doomed to repeat it.
And I think we're in a good place for that. I think Trump's got us in a good place for that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a really rocky ride.
I think you're right, sister.
Coming to a theater near you soon.
I think you're right. It pains me to think you're right, but I'm leaning towards really, really agreeing with you. It could get rough before it gets better. It certainly could. I love the fact that you called, my dear. I really appreciated the hospitality that you and Razor showed me on your on my cross country trip. I hope to come see you again this summer.
Well, you take it easy and take it easy when you come. Pay attention to your temperatures.
Yeah.
All right, and we love you, and we don't want you to get sick again.
Thanks, kiddo. I'm staying good. Great to talk to you. Have
Great
a great evening.
to talk to
Thanks
you.
for your call. Have a great evening.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Oh, dear sister, CL Goober right there. CL Goober. She and her old man Razor are really two of the best. Right here, I have my Dark Side of the Moon Frisbee that he gave me. It's a Frisbee golf. It's a freaking collector's item, and it's one of my prized possessions. It should be hanging up. It should be hanging up somewhere. What are your thoughts on St. Patrick's Day? Do you like to go out and party? Do you think it is? Is it something we all need to do? I'm inclined to agree with what Goober suggested. Is that, when you hold a people down for so long, they got to release in some way. They got to be able to turn it loose and celebrate something, even if it's just celebrate being Irish. So I guess I understand that. It makes me wonder why we don't have more holidays like it. Like, how come Italians don't go out and all get crocked on Columbus Day? Or, it's funny when I work with a great deal of Mexican guys, and Cinco de Mayo to them is nothing. It's like just another day to go to work, man. It's not. It's been Americanized, and it's been commercialized as a day to sell Mexican food in the restaurants and to drink tequila. Seriously, I swear to God. Oh, from the 610 area code. Who do we have on the line tonight?
Captain, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Great. Are you looking forward to St. Patrick's Day?
Not so much. Valentine's has always been a favorite of mine, Captain.
You good with the ladies, are you?
No, well, I used to be. I gave that up, like cigarettes.
Good for you. You probably live longer.
Well, I'm certainly happy, and life's too short to be pissed off.
I'm telling you, man, happiness comes from within, and the sooner one realizes that, I wake up in the morning, each and every morning, and I choose joy, and man, nobody's going to rob that from me. Nobody can rob me of that. It's just not going to happen. Sounds like you got that figured out as well. You sound like a happy guy.
Well, like you said, you wake up in the morning, and you know what? Let's start asking questions. What kind of person am I?
Yeah.
And go throughout your day realizing that you are that person. So be who you want to be.
Amen. I like it. I have to ask this, though. Have you, upon occasion over the years, gone out and partied on St. Patrick's Day?
Let's say this. I built and used to work at a nightclub for many years.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, yeah, I was a kind of individual who used to carry 3 full cases of beer on my back. Just a bar back, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Dude, as I shared, my brother was a bartender for many, many, many years. And, he said that, hands down, St. Patrick's Day was the holy grail of bartending. They made more tips on St. Patrick's Day than any other day of the year.
Well, let me tell you what. St. Patrick's Day is a good day at bartending. But honestly, in my experience...
Yeah, tell me.
Thanksgiving Eve was the greatest... I'm talking... I walked out of a place with like almost $1,000 in tips.
On Thanksgiving Eve.
5 hours.
Now, I have an interesting little thing to share with you about Thanksgiving Eve. So, my brother shared with me several things. 30 years as a bartender.
That's a long time.
Yeah. He said that Thanksgiving Eve, and I don't want you guys. I don't want anybody to think lesser of my brother for this. I'm just telling you what he told me. He said that Thanksgiving Eve was the easiest day to get laid of the whole year because you got all of these lonely people out there who sometimes just don't have anywhere to go, and they're feeling forlorn, and they're feeling what's the word I'm looking for? They're
Missing.
It's easy to take advantage of them. I mean, if I don't like to use that term, take advantage of. They're just easily, they just want to be loved by somebody,
I never really thought of it like that. That is very interesting.
Mm. But you say it was a cash cow.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving Eve was remarkably the most lucrative. Well, at least in my area.
Well, what part of the country was your restaurant?
I live in the valley.
Oh,
I live in the valley, and you came and visited me, and I'll always remember this. Because it was the day I met a rock star, and he came to visit me and give me the second Zoso shirt. That finally fits. And I had no idea why you came, why you were late, or any of that. I was just happy you were coming.
Well,
You remember?
Yeah, I do indeed. You're right. The second shot, dude. You're taking me back, man. That is freaking awesome. So the shirt still fits?
Oh, did you say, hell yeah, the shirt fits? Even if I lose weight, the shirt fits. I don't know about gaining any more weight.
Heck, brother. I'm awfully glad you called in.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I watch your show a lot. I understand that too much spaz is a bad thing, and I try not to disrupt too much, but I have to here and there.
I'm really glad you called, man. It's always good to talk to you. Always good to talk to you. I'm looking forward to going out and about in the next few months, man. I gotta get both my girls in shape and flip a coin and decide who I'm going to take for sure.
Ooh. Well, they don't make things like they used to.
Oh, I know. That's a fact.
I often think that older is better because, well, if you could take that many stretch and dents and rocks and bugs,
yeah,
you've earned it right.
I'm right there with you, man. Peggy turned 20 this year, and
wow.
I'm really thinking of jumping on her and going. We've had a lot of great adventures together. Why not do it one more time?
Well,
yeah.
I turned 50 last Thursday, so.
Oh, happy birthday, my man!
Oh yeah. Well, I'm still taking my rocks and dents, and I'm gonna keep plugging along, just like you do. You wake up, you realize who you are, and you go out and change the world with your bare hands.
Well,
and it's respectable, and I admire you.
My brother, I admire you too. Thank you so much for your call. I do appreciate it.
You have a good night, Captain.
All right, buddy. We'll wrap at you soon. Be good. All right.
Later.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. That is awesome. I'll tell you what else is awesome. I just looked down at D Live. There are 71 viewers over at D Live. I freaking love you guys. D Live, you are freaking rock stars. Rock stars. Well, welcome aboard the mystery ship, my brother Due Diligence. What is going down, my man?
Oh, not much. I just realized that St. Patrick's Day is this Sunday.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I already got the beers and bro shell earlier in the day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so apparently I'm going to be having some green beer.
It ought to be a good one. And right after you is 3 beer men, so holy smokes. Sunday's going to be Yeah, it's going to be a belly full of beer followed by some corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, and calling in sick on Monday too. Just saying. I'll be honest with you. It's on my mother's side. I'm about a third Irish.
Are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw that one. I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But and I didn't. Honestly, I really didn't realize the whole drinking side of the entire holiday of St. Patrick's Day came from America alone. But I embrace it.
Hey, dude, yeah. I mean, I can say I've had some memorable St. Patrick's Day days in my. It's funny. I have like 3 or 4 boxes of photos from all spans of the years of my life, and when I go through the 80s, oh man, there are several that were. I mean, you could see I was having a good time on St. Patrick's Day somewhere because I got the green hat on and the just about every
Oh, trust me,
it's crazy.
Every single year since I've been legal drinking age, I've been having fun on St. Patrick's Day. And then it made everything that seemed to got a little bit worse, and a little bit more trouble when I joined the Marine Corps. That made everything worse.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. I knew it was ham and cabbage for the actual Irish.
Right.
I just forgot about that fact. But
corned beef was more affordable. So during the 20s and the 30s, when things got tough after the stock market crash, people they leaned towards corned beef because it was more affordable.
Yep.
Crazy.
Exactly. But there's no matter what now. I think honestly, corned beef and cabbage is probably a massive staple now to St. Patrick's Day than anything else. Well, aside from the drinking.
Oh yes. Well, man. Dude, are you going to be laying low this St. Patrick's Day? And it's a Sunday, right?
No, I'm going to be doing the Beers and Bros show.
Right.
It's episode 151 this time.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
just kind of.
You know who I haven't seen in a while on your show is Red Jesus. Where's he been lately?
Oh, he rolled back over to New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, and he hasn't even contacted me via cell phone. So, but you're definitely referring to Shibbles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When he grew that beard, I made a sticker of him that said "Red Jesus." It just kind of stuck.
Does anybody have that sticker? Because I really want to grab that.
Oh, I got it. I'll send it to you. I'll put it in your next show.
All right. But yeah, it's he's just got a lot of things going on right about now. And trust me, I do miss having him on.
Yeah, dude, I love that guy. Love that guy. If he's in Jersey, I'm going to look him up on my cross-country run. I hope he still has his motorcycle.
Well, considering the fact that he had MS and he rode halfway across the country at about 35 miles an hour in the second gear, I don't know how much longer that motorcycle is going to survive.
Well, if you talk to him, make sure you tell him I said hello, would you?
You got it, brother.
I'll be sure to drop that sticker, man. Hey, I better mosey along, man. I'm looking at I just took a look at the clock. I've been poking right along here. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I just looked at the time myself. I'm like, holy crap. We got to get rolling.
I freaking love you, brother. Thank you so much for the call, Double D.
Love you too, brother. We'll catch you soon, okay?
Be good, my man. Be good.
You know it.
All right.
All right, later.
My brother right there, due diligence. He was surprised to find himself in my video. I don't know why. He is a freaking great dude. I look forward to catching up with him again. I was before my trip got cut short this summer. I was supposed to circle back and come back home from the Northwest, and Well, sometimes things don't always go as well as you planned. And, well, there's always next year. There's always this year, actually. This year is next year. So I look forward to seeing him again. Now, I realize that this is a Wednesday, folks. And normally it is on Sundays that I go out of my way to pray for people, but or ask us to pray for people. But I've got a couple of people that I just really want to mention who could use your prayers right now. A very big one, a very, very big one, is our dear sister Jo Elaine over at Pilled Foxhole right now. Folks, they need a miracle. Okay, I visited Jo Elaine 2 years ago. Beautiful home. Oh my God, she put on this incredible dinner, an Italian dinner. A little Italian boy loves a little Italian dinner. It was incredible. And what a beautiful, beautiful home she lives in Florida. And nothing wrong with the house. Absolutely nothing. But the bureaucrats down her way have decided that it's time to rake money out of the locals. And they've come along and said, you and you and you and your house and your house and your house, you need to change your roof. So they're being forced at gunpoint, or should I say at wallet point, to put a different roof on their house, in spite of the fact that the roof that she has is perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. To the tune of about $30,000. So it turns out, if you are wise and you do your homework, there is a certain government grant that you can apply for. And if you qualify, they'll put the roof on for you for free. It looks as though Jo Elaine qualifies, but I guess they only take so many people. Folks, I'm going to ask you to please pray. Pray that the powers that be choose Jo Elaine and her husband to be the recipients of this grant. Seriously, it's grossly unfair. It's as unjust gets. And I mean, anybody out there, you got $30,000 to throw a new roof on your home? A perfectly good roof, right? There's nothing wrong with your roof, but the government comes along and says, no, you need to put a new roof on that house. You're not hurricane proof. So please pray. Please pray that that this goes her way, would you? This would be a huge plus. I ask you, please keep Jo Elaine and her husband in your prayers, that God would intercede and that God's will be done. That is my request. I would like to also ask us to pray for my dear sister Amethyst Cat reached out for me, Julie, our dear sister, and let us know that Sleeping Stars, she's with us tonight. Her fiance has a brother named Matt who has stage 4 kidney failure. Folks, this is my stepson is going through this right now. Kidney failure. He has to do dialysis every single day of his life. He walks around with a little pod on his side that they have permanently installed. It's brutal. I would ask that you pray for this man, Matt, Shelby's brother-in-law. Please pray that that God's will be done with this man, that he is healed. He's 33 years young. That is tremendously young. Okay? please pray for this young man, Matt, that God heals his liver and that he makes a comeback, that God's will be done for this young man. I want to also ask that we pray for our sister, our friend Arta61 wrote me, and she has a friend named Carrie, who is a young woman who is really, really up against it. She is faced with some enormous challenges, health-wise. I mean, tremendous challenges. I showed her picture. She has a family with 3 beautiful children, and this is a young woman. I mean, she can't be 30, 32 years old. Her name is Carrie. I would really ask that you pray for this woman. Pray that God meets her needs, and that God, she's got everything in the world to live for, this young lady. Please pray for Carrie. Last but not least, my sister-in-law right here at the house is she just found out that she has breast cancer, and they're going to be doing an operation and removing a portion, and it's incredible what they do these days. They're going to be inserting a microchip in her and then doing a biopsy, and apparently this microchip shows if she's healthy or not. Her name is Lynn. I would just please ask, that you pray for Lynn, that God guides the surgeon's hands, and that everything goes as planned. It's this one is awfully close to home, folks. Awfully close to home. I would appreciate it. All right. It has been my pleasure to have you aboard the mystery ship tonight. You are the greatest group of sailors that I've ever known, and I love each and every one of you. You're the freaking best. We're going to boogie it on out of here. It's that time. It is that time to hit the highway. Thank you again to all the beautiful people who donated to this show. I truly, truly appreciate you more than you'll ever know. More than you ever know. Let me release the scratching over there at Pilled Foxhole. That is a little lottery ticket where you can actually win. You can win gold pills, and people, gold pills are money. So go over and win yourself some gold pills. Over here at D Live, they have a little different setup. They have a thing called the treasure chest. And every night I broadcast, I can throw a little something into that and give it back to the folks who give so lovingly to me. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to spread the love tonight. Spreading the love. That's what we do. That's what we do around here. All right. I've loaded it up. I have loaded it up. Thank you, everyone, for your incredible support over there this evening. You've been just absolutely wonderful. Here it comes. The treasure chest is coming your way in 23 seconds. Oh, look, they are they're raking in the scratching over there. Maybe I'll take a crack at it. Maybe I'll take a crack at it tonight. I never win on this thing. I never freaking win. I wonder why that is. Why is that? Let's take one more crack. No. No such luck. No such luck. It happens like that. It happens like that. Oh, well. Oh, well, you can't win all the time. Well, look at this. Look at this. Gloria Paddock. At the top tonight, Gloria, 148.6 lemons. Lieutenant Cooker on her heels. Amethyst Cat in the running. Jayla, 17, and Sleeping Stars. Congratulations, all you people over there. That is wonderful. Good for you. Good for you. That is freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. All right. All right. I'm going to boogie it on out of here. It's been about a day for your brother Zoe. I've got a pillow calling my name, and I'm looking forward to communicating with it. Have a great rest of your week, my friends. I look forward to seeing you this Friday. This Friday, I will be back with another show, and we'll have a good time hanging out together. Take care, all of you beautiful people. I freaking love you. Thanks so much. See you on the flip side. While I have this moment, I want to thank the wonderful mods. I freaking love you. Thank you, mods. And also, a huge thanks to everyone who called in this evening. You guys make the show what it is. Thanks for calling in. Kubich, Spazzo Yeti, Double D, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your week, people. I will see you on Friday.